Hey, buddy. Hi. This is Sheena. And over here, our friend in the brown over here is Tina. Hi. I think I've got treats, but I've got nothing. Oh, hello, everybody. It's Alexa from Grace and Cherish. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. I share videos about our garden. As you can see, we live on 10 acres just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, like 30 minutes or so. Love it here. It's been good. I'm a Midwesterner, not a Southerner. Definitely wasn't a gardener. Never lived on land or had animals, my husband or I. So this has been a whole learning curve for us, but we have loved it. And we also have learned a lot, including some of the things I'm gonna share today. All right, since the animals are right here and they're fun to look at, we'll start with the blueberry bushes. So what you can see right here, I'm gonna just try to see, I'm gonna find a video where I can kind of show you what this did look like and now what it does look like, because as you can see, it's very different. We had so much stuff that was overgrown. Now, again, what we do is no-dig gardening. So here's a good example of it. Okay, so first things first, what is no-dig gardening? No-dig gardening, really think it's simple, no dig. You're not tilling the land or anything like that. The way that we did it, my introduction to it was through Charles Dowding. There are several people who talk about no-dig gardening. I just like Charles Dowding and how he went about teaching it, so that's kind of who I focused on. And he has two books. I have one that's called No Dig, and then he has another one called Compost. I'm reading both of those. I'm also taking a course on his online class because after how big of a fail I had this last year, I was like, I need to go take the class. But his YouTube is full of information to get you started and is very, very helpful. Our first year, it was great. Like everything, it went according to plan. We didn't dig anything. We didn't dig into the ground. We preserved, the microorganisms and everything that's already there. We wanted to work with the land. And so that's why I was drawn to no-dig gardening. And so what we did was I laid out cardboard on a 50 by 60 foot plot. Then from there, we covered it with leaves. On our property, we have so many trees. So for me, it was like, we're like, hey, let's use what we have. We got free cardboard from a local bin store that didn't have the labels and everything. So it was really easy for us to just lay it down because we didn't have to do a bunch of tearing off labels and all that. So we got free cardboard, laid it in the 50 by 60 foot plot. Then we took the leaves, put it on top of the cardboard. Then from there, we actually ended up went straight and put on compost. Now, the first year that we did it, we did just say we're gonna invest in this compost. We had a couple things of dirt that we got from, or it was horse manure that we got from people who were selling it. And I looked on Facebook Marketplace and I found people and they delivered some. And that is actually where I think I had my problem, because I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of seeds that were within that then came into my garden. But the first year, I didn't really see it. The first year, it was lush and green and things were growing really well. And I was like, wow, I am meant to do this. And I still think I am. But the second year, it was a slap in the face because it was not as glorious. There was a lot more struggle in terms of everything that grew up out of the ground. Now, what I realized is that with no dig, one of the things I didn't do was in the fall prior to the next spring, I didn't add another layer of compost. I should have done that in the fall, and I think that would have helped. I did eventually add more compost to the beds, but it probably wasn't enough, and it was also a lot later, so I don't know if that contributed to part of the problem. So how am I gonna fix it? Well, what I'm gonna do is we are going to, like right now, I sat here because I wanted to show you this right here. You can see this is cardboard that I had laid down, but I actually didn't. If I go over here, you'll see here are wood chips. So we get a chip drop and then lay wood chips for all the paths, but this cardboard never had it. So I just wanted to show you, this is a cardboard. Typically you lay this down and you put the leaves, and if it's a walkway, I put wood chips. If it's a bed, I put the cardboard, the leaves, and then I'll put the compost like I mentioned before. And you can see underneath here what this looks like, right? Like this has been starved of light. You see a lot of dirt here compared to right next to it where I didn't lay any cardboard down. This is all that grass and everything you see right there, okay? So you can see like the cardboard laying it down, it really does do a good job. I'll have to repair that later. So I, again, really like think my video's all off. 1 second. I think, okay. Don't mind me. Let me see if that helps. We'll go with it. So I really like no dig again because I like the fact that it doesn't disturb the land that's already there, and you kind of are trying to work with the land without going in and digging things out. That process made a lot of sense to me. But I need to figure out a new way because I don't want to restart every year. What we are gonna do is restart this year because of how much is overgrown. I mean, if you look at my garden right now, and you look at all, like this isn't how it was supposed to be. This is a bed where we got, you know, our peppers did really well, but you can see how overgrown. I haven't taken out the pepper plants yet. Again, the fact that Brandon and I both had health issues, and especially me, I handle a lot of the garden, Brandon handles the animals. So this is really, you know, we work as a team, but a lot of it depends on me getting out here and doing stuff. And with the pain I was having, I just couldn't do it. So this was a flower bed. You can see it just wasn't good. There's a lot of issues. This bed was mostly okay. Right here, this is where we had marigolds and watermelon that were okay. This is another flower bed. Some of the beds I had already started covering up for the winter because they were so overgrown. I had sweet potatoes and other things over here. At one point, this was an entire path of just wood chips, and now you can't even see the wood chips. So, and then we have 4 raised garden beds over there. That one has a lot of water. It rained a lot last night. All right, so I'm gonna take you over to where we're going to put up the other part that I think is necessary for us in order to do our gardening and everything right. We have, you can actually see behind me, that's a fenced area of our garden. So we're gonna redo our no dig. We're gonna relay all the cardboard down. We're gonna reload, put down new leaves, compost, and all of that good stuff. And then right here, let me set this camera up so you can see. Okay, so right here is where we're gonna have a compost bin. Now, the thing about the garden that is wonderful is compost, right? We want compost. Compost is great. And a no dig, that's a huge part of it. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we didn't do that we needed to, I have a goat that's going underneath my tripod stand. So if this topples over, you know why. Anyway, let's see what happens. She's doing good. You're doing good. Go ahead, girl. No, don't eat it though. Let's not eat it. I want to show you what she's doing. No, you can't eat it. You can't eat it. It doesn't taste good. It's not organic. That's kind of funny. Tina! I kind of want to let you, it's like with kids. I mean, you technically, well, you're not a kid anymore. You're grown up. But it's like with kids, you got to let them kind of try it a little bit and then realize they don't want it. There we go. Good job. Okay, let me put this back. Okay, I don't remember what I was saying, but something about compost. Long story short, our compost bins we have right now are not sturdy, so our goats actually get into them, they knock it over, and then they start eating everything. The upside, we get a lot of goat and chicken poop in our compost. The downside, they eat everything out of it, so it's not actually yielding very much. We don't want to do that anymore because with no dig, putting that extra layer of compost on every year, and for us since we're restarting, we want a good 6 inches, but we have 12 beds, 13 beds that are about 4 by 20 feet long. And then we have our raised garden beds and a couple other areas. So we actually, and I'm creating a whole nother patch for pumpkins and watermelons. I have failed on pumpkins for the last 3 or 4 seasons, or 3 seasons. I'm not gonna do it again. I am determined to succeed. So I'm creating we have a good, 16 feet by whatever that is, it's pretty long, that we're gonna lay out to grow more things. Not only pumpkins and watermelon, but we are gonna use it to grow them and give them more space to breathe and grow. So anyway, that means that we need a lot of compost is my point. So we're not gonna be able to create enough compost on our own by the time that we need to lay. So that's why this year we just said we're gonna put aside money to get the compost we need and the right amount that we need and all that good stuff to get us started. But year after year, to help us to be good stewards of our money, we want to just make sure that we are creating our own compost. And so that means we need to create a sturdier bin, a couple of bins that we, or bays, however you want to say it, that we made our current one out of pallets. We're going to try that again, but just have it be a little more secure so that our goats can't just knock it over, or other animals that come through the property can't just knock it over and all of that. So one of our big projects is getting that compost bin taken care of, and then really learning how do we create this well, how do we make compost and help it grow and increase and all of that good stuff. So I'm excited for that because I think it's important, and the more we know about it, the more we can also share with other people, whether it's our kids, whether it's other kids that come here, and families and friends. And we just really want, on here, we really want to be able to share, because we recognize that growing your own food is only becoming more and more of a necessity in the sense of, I'm grateful for the grocery stores we have nearby, for sure, and I'm grateful that we are able to access those grocery stores. With the health issues that my kids have had in the past, and just seeing all of the different issues around food and even the prices of food and everything, I was like, man, if there's anything I can do while I'm on this earth, if it's grow food to share it with my family, with the people we invite here, because our property, we use it to offer Sabbath rest to people. That's something that's really important to us, especially people who don't often have access to land that they can go and spend time on, and ponds where they can go and fish and not have to worry. Like we really, that's why we bought this. It's what we want to do with it. And I would love, we love being able to offer people food. And so we want to grow food that's healthy and nutritious, and we're able to give, and we also want to teach people so that they can do it too, whether they have just a back patio that they can grow on or a bunch of land. We really want to be able to do that with use what you have, and this is what we have. So that's our goal. Compost, reset the garden and start over, and then really be smart about how we're growing. So I'm going to be going through the seeds that we have from last year, and the seeds that we might need to buy. So I'll do another video about that, kind of going through those things. But one of the things I want to focus on this year is really making sure, and let's walk. I'm trying to think of what else. I was asked for an update, so I'm trying to think of other things to show from the property. But I really want to do a better job at growing what we need. And some of that is a guessing game because, again, we use our property for events and things. And so sometimes we need stuff that it's hard to quantify. But as far as my family goes, I want to have a good idea of what do we actually need, and what are we going to actually eat, and what can I maintain. So those are some of the things that we're going to focus on. Let's go to, I can show you what our current compost bin looks like. Just promise me you won't judge me. Just kidding. I mean, you can judge me. It's actually pretty terrible, but let me show you. Okay. It didn't set out to look like this. We didn't set out for this to look like this. It's gotten pretty bad, but you can get the general idea of a structure. And then we had those doors up on each one, and then the goats knocked them down, and the chickens love hanging out here. And yeah, so we're gonna redo this and do it right and do it better. That is the goal. All right, I mentioned this in a previous video not too long ago, but the pond continues to be incredibly low. It should not be this low. It should be, like you see that tree right there? The water should be all the way up to here, and it's all the way down there. So I went on the boat, and let me tell you, it was crazy. I'd never seen it so low when I was on the boat. It was, yeah, not the best. We got some rain last night, but we definitely need some more. All right, I'm just gonna sit on the dock. I should probably fix this. Ooh. Okay. All right, so the rest of the updates. As far as it goes at Philo with the garden, I shared resetting for no dig, getting the compost bins up, and making sure I'm studying myself so I know how to do things better. With the chickens, we've been processing chickens, so we've actually had, we've processed several, three or four of our own, And then that's all been Brandon. I actually haven't tried it myself yet, but then we had some friends who have their own chickens and they wanted to try to process them. So they came over and they processed, and it was really cool. Like their kids, our kids, we actually had another friend and her kids came just to watch. And so it was really neat to do that communally as well, to kind of help the kids understand this is, the chicken you're eating, this is where it comes from, this is what it looks like, to do it in a manner of like respect and honor to this is God's creation. We are going to consume it to help us, to provide us with food and to grow and things. But it is, it was just honorable too. And I really appreciated that. And I didn't have that growing up. I never thought about where my chicken came from and all that kind of stuff. So it has really been neat to get to be a part of that, and to also be with other people who are trying to learn. And Brandon's like, hey, I've only done it a few times, but I can tell you what I know. And so he showed him, and I just thought that was really neat. So that has been another good thing. We're definitely going to get more chickens for the spring. We actually just had one get killed by a raccoon. That's sad. Raccoons are not nice, I was making a joke on Instagram when it happened. I was like, I watched Pocahontas, and, besides it being historically inaccurate, which it is, it also is very inaccurate around like raccoons, because in that movie I really thought raccoons were like fun and like sweet little pets. They are not. They are vicious. I was like, oh my goodness, the way that we knew it was a raccoon that killed the chicken because they ripped the head off. I mean, it was So anyway, I came home one night. It was like 11 o'clock. I think I was coming home from my discipleship group, and we meet really late. And so it might have been a little bit before 11, but still, I got home. I see the lights that we have around where the chickens sleep that tell us if an animal or a person or something is nearby. They're on, and the chickens are squawking loudly. So I get out of the car, I run inside the house to get a flashlight, and then I run back. And Brandon, I mentioned he had his ankle surgery, so he normally is the one who would have gone out there with me. He looked at all that stuff and everything, but because he literally can't put any weight on his ankle, he's like just there, and he's trying to like use his scooter to get over to our screen porch so he can look outside with me. But I'm just like bolting outside trying to figure out like where is it, and I thought I saw something climb in the tree to get away, but I wasn't sure. And so I look and I'm searching for the raccoon. I can't find it. I know something had happened, and I was assuming a raccoon. There are a couple other animals it could have been, but I was like, it most likely is a raccoon. So anyway, I couldn't find it. There was not much I could do. I ended up going to bed. We wake up the next morning, and one of the chickens was gone. Thankfully, it was only one, but still a bummer. So anyway, it was one of our Rhode Island Reds, and so that stunk. I know it's just kind of a part of how things go, but we want to get a coop, we've always wanted to have one, but we've kind of had to make do with some of the things that we already had on the property. But that's another thing we're hoping this next year we're able to do better. I mean, the reality is between the hawks, raccoons, that's going to happen. So I'm not, it is what it is, but we were trying to think of the little things we can do to help make it at least harder for them to do that. But yeah, other than that, I think those are most of the updates we have. It is week 3 of Advent. It's December. It's a week of joy. Advent means to focus on joy. And so I've really been leaning into that and just thanking the Lord for the good things that we have. I think one of the greatest ways to access joy and to choose joy is to just remember what it is that we have to be grateful for. And when I look around this land, I look at the trees, I sit on this dock with this beautiful pond behind me, even if it is shrinking, I think there's a lot to be grateful for. And even if I didn't have any of this, I have breath in my lungs, I have breath, and I have the ability to live in this day. And so I think that is, I'm really just trying to hold fast to that, and to hold fast to joy. So I hope that for you too, wherever you are, whatever's going on. And sometimes people are in really hard situations where it's really hard to choose joy and to focus on the things you're grateful for. And if you're one of those people, I hope that you are even able to look at the people, whether it's people around you who have joy, or people from the past who are an encouragement to you, whether it's people you've read about in history or family members, like a grandma or something, whoever that might be that has been an embodiment of joy for you, latch onto theirs. Because sometimes it is hard for us to choose it and to know it for ourselves. And we actually just have to latch on to the joy that we see in others. For me, it's always been like Black Christians from like enslavement or like Jim Crow era. That has always been a big deal to me. To like when I'm like thinking about something or struggling with something, and I think like, man, they embodied joy. How can I hold on to that? How can I, from the joy, like they didn't ignore what was going on in life. Like they had to deal with real pain and struggle, and they chose joy in the midst of it. There are different people who embodied a joy. Like they still found ways to laugh. So it's like, what does that look like for me? And I'll latch onto that and use that as a hope to hold on to. And of course in Jesus, like Paul is a great example in the scripture. Jesus is a great example, obviously, like the best example and the purest embodiment of joy. And I think that it's sometimes we got to latch on to those others too, and just let that be the hope that keeps us going. But if you are someone who in this season, which there's a lot of hard things that might come up around the holidays, with Christmas coming, I pray that you know the comfort of the Lord. I pray that you know the joy of the Lord, but I especially just pray that if you're in a place of mourning, that you have people around you, and especially know like the Lord with you, to mourn with you, because mourning is a reality of life too. And we don't have to, it doesn't have to be joy or not. It's something where you sometimes just need to sit in that. And our God is perfectly okay with sitting in the mourning with you. And so I hope for comfort for you. I hope for whatever peace you need as you are going through this season. I do pray for that for you. And if you're not someone who's in a particularly, a difficult season in which that accessing that joy might be hard, I pray that you can be that embodiment of joy for those that might have a hard time getting that. And I pray that you are a person who is able to see, just like in our property and our land, or watching vegetables grow, and like the amazing ways that from a seed to this big plant to the fruit that we can eat of it, like it's crazy to watch that happen. I pray that people can see you and see the things that we've all gone through things, and to still be able to choose joy is a beautiful thing. It's like the fruit, it is a fruit of the Spirit, but like the fruit that started as a seed and it grew as a plant. It had to be nurtured and grow, and it went through trials, right? And that there's still fruit that comes. And so if you are someone who is really being able to express joy at this time, I hope that you do so freely and joyfully and abundantly, because there are people who might need to see that, and to let that be, they might need to latch onto that for their hope, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's my update. Thanks for asking. It's a joy to do all of this, and I'm excited for the next one. I am definitely going to be talking seed starting in the future. I think I started talking about that earlier in this video and then forgot to keep going, but I'm definitely going to be looking into the seeds that we're going to plant, and I'll share a video about that later. But for now, Merry Christmas, bless you, and until next time, onward and hope.